What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of the Huddle, and we are here and ready to go. I'm here with my boy
Christian Roddy
and my boy. Yes, sir. So let's get into it, bro. How's your weekend or your week? Your last 2 weeks?
My last 2 weeks.
Yeah,
my last 2 weeks have been good. Been chilling. It's been a great first quarter. Weather out here in San Diego is kind of getting me a little depressed, but we're almost out of it. Got a little rain.
I feel that.
Little catch up. Went and got my E-Volt body scan done. That was good.
What was the results for that? Good?
They're pretty good. They're pretty good. I think I was
So how much did you go down by, if you don't mind me asking?
weight or body fat percentage?
Both.
Weight, I've now lost.
You don't have to give us a number, but just give us like
the
percentage
I've lost
that you went
40.
down by.
I've lost 40 pounds.
Sheesh.
That's
That's a round of applause. God damn it, Jesse. Give him a round of applause. What are you doing?
Hey, I don't need that pity applause.
Give my boy a round of applause. What are you doing?
And then body fat percentage. Fuck. I'd have to double check, but I think it was at least 7%.
Damn, my boy has been working.
Yeah.
And what the fuck have y'all been doing? Nothing.
Nah,
I swear,
it's good.
bro. That's dope.
And then with that, I hit. So the reason I went and got that done was I hit my initial body weight goal that I had set with you, 185. Yeah. So I was like, all right, let me go scan and see what happened. And so I was pretty happy with that. I was feeling small, though. I ain't going to lie to you. Yeah. Like I told you, I felt like little homie.
You is little homie right now, but it's all right. My little homie.
That's my friend.
That's my friend.
But I was feeling diced up, and I was like, one night I went out and got drinks, and the next morning I was like, kind of after I hit the goal, had some drinks. Was pretty dehydrated. Woke up the next morning like legit diced up, bro. Dicey. Like that was probably the leanest I've been in a really long time.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I think I
like this shit.
Well, no, I was thinking I think it's time to go the other way.
Yeah.
Because even being that diced, I felt a little small.
Yeah.
Went to work. One of my trainers said I looked small. I was like, bet I'm gonna go get a breakfast burrito right now.
Carb load.
So it's been about a week of me eating in. I would say I reverse dieted. Like there was definitely a couple big meals just to enjoy it because I've been in a deficit for so long.
Yeah.
But about a week of being now at kind of maintenance or a little above, I already feel like a fat piece of shit, and it's just like
that's crazy.
And it's all mental because on the scale, I haven't even gained a pound.
Yeah. So when did you start noticing? I guess like. Along that 40 pounds, when did you start noticing that you were losing actual weight? Because a lot of people don't realize it, and then they like have like certain type of body dysmorphia, and they're like, oh yeah, like I haven't lost any weight, and then realistically they lost like 20 pounds or they realistically like 40
I don't
pounds.
even think I really noticed until I was at least 12 pounds down.
Yeah.
Like, and that was like I barely noticed. Like, I'm starting to feel like I'm feeling better. I'm moving better.
Yeah.
The big notice, so I started this at like, I was over 220. I think I was like 221, 225. I think when I got to 205 and then when I was under 200, I was like, I'm losing some weight. My pants are fitting different.
Yeah.
But yeah, getting under 190, so I was 30 pounds there. And that was kind of like a wall for me to get past for a while. But when I broke that, night and day difference.
So I guess could you talk about essentially how you... I mean, because like 40 pounds, a lot of people would love to lose 40 pounds. So could you talk about like how your weight loss journey went? And then I guess like talk about what changed, because obviously that 30 pounds was probably a lot easier than those last 10 pounds. So what did you do different from the 30 to the 10? And the whole journey. And then what did you do different from 30 to 10?
It's so funny because a lot of people ask me, and it was small like lifestyle changes, not going to lie, for the first 30. One thing I'll say right out the gate is at no point during this weight loss journey did I ever do consistently more than 30 minutes of cardio.
Yeah.
At no point did I ever do more than 20 minutes of cardio.
Yeah.
I'd like walk like 20 minutes here and there.
Yeah.
At no point was that the foundation of like this weight loss journey.
Of the weight loss, yeah.
So you don't have to do that. That's why I want to start with that. But the big changes were I actually started eating breakfast more. Like with our business, like we're kind of like,
bro, super important.
Yeah, we're operators, and we just sometimes run out the door, and we're like, we got to hit the wall. So I woke up earlier to make sure I had time for my like a good nutritional breakfast. Made sure I hit my protein intake. I stopped eating out and started cooking all my own meals, and I started prioritizing my sleep more.
Nice.
With those 4 changes, it's like that's, and hydration.
Yeah.
So that was the 5th. Those were the big 5 things that from that first 30 pounds, like literally took away. Big catalyst for that, as well as just like, not to say like, and it was anyone else's fault, but like becoming single made that a lot easier to do all those things.
For sure.
Because it's like I was able to be
you're
selfish.
You're prioritizing yourself.
Yeah, so I was allowed to be selfish. And I feel like that's just, that weight started to fall off. And then weightlifting 3 to 5 times a week for sure.
Yeah, I was going to ask, how often do you work out? During that 30 pounds, how often?
The 30 pounds? It was 3 to 5.
Okay.
I would say on average, it was, for the first 30 pounds was 3 days a week, because it was kind of like just being super consistent with that. Some weeks had 5, but on average, I would say it was 3 or more. The end there definitely ramped it up. It was a consistent 5.
Yeah.
Like even right now, I'm noticing like I'm a little more tight than I was then, because I'm not taking as much rest as I was then. No, which doesn't necessarily mean it's better or worse. But
no, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and I didn't drink as much.
Yeah, I was going to say alcohol plays a big factor into that.
Mm-hmm. And I was like cooking my own meals, kind of like through that, and they're like not going out, stuff like that.
Because like a lot of people don't realize, we always think, when we think about deficits and we think about calorie consumption, we always think about food, and we never think about liquid calories. And that's why people are like, I feel like that's one of the main reasons why a lot of people get stuck. Is because they don't think about liquid consumption. So they like the juice that they drink, the soda that they drink, or the beer and whiskey and shit that they drink. Like they don't think about all those like thousands of calories that they're thinking. They just think of just a beer or like stuff like that. So that, I mean, that definitely plays a factor. But I mean, obviously throughout your journey, like you did a lot of stuff like sleeping. Sleeping is super important. Breakfast, I think breakfast is one of the most important ones. And that's where I've been falling off this last like maybe like year or like 6 months. Yeah, it's been about like a year almost. I haven't eaten breakfast like consistently, and I've noticed it. Like I noticed that it's changed my body. And I noticed that when I was eating breakfast that I had more energy throughout the day, and I was easier to like kind of like manipulate my weight gain and weight loss a lot easier versus than just speeding out the door and then randomly eating like throughout the day.
Yeah, you're stuck being reactive to your day, because like if you wake up, you have that nutritional breakfast, one, you're a little bit more satiated, you're not acting on impulse, because like if I don't have breakfast, I immediately go to work, I immediately get the day rolling. Like lunch rolls around, I'm not satiated yet, my cravings are probably in high gear, I want something quick, because it, like, let's say it's work, I'm at work anyways, if you meal prepped or not.
Yeah.
But let's say you did meal prep, you still eat your meal prep, maybe you're still hungry because
because now you're only getting what, 600 calories?
Yeah, or you sell yourself, you're like, well, I've only had 600 calories, I still have my whole day ahead. Like, you're a big dude. You're going to need a lot more. So I think it's kind of like what the military used to say all the time, like, make your bed, because then you've accomplished something in the day. Like with your nutrition side of things, like have a breakfast. Like, it's not what maybe the cereal industry hyped it up to be, like the most important meal of the day, but it is setting your day up for success if you start it with a nutritional breakfast.
Yeah, I think it's super important because I like almost think of it as the pyramid, and it's like I think you should have a big, like, hearty, like, thick breakfast, and like get all your carbs in there, get all your fats in there, get all your proteins in there, and then kind of taper it out throughout the day. And then once you go to sleep, now you have almost like that starvation, well, not that starvation, but you're almost going through that that fasting state, because now you're not eating or getting any consumption water or eating for at least 7 to 12 hours if you're sleeping. And then once you wake up, you just fulfill all your like body's needs with that breakfast. And I like how you pointed out, because like I noticed when I used to eat breakfast, I used to feel like accomplished. Like I made breakfast, I woke up, I made breakfast, I ate healthy to start my day off. So I think that just led to a healthier lifestyle. So what about the last like 10 pounds?
Last 10 pounds were definitely harder. That's where I was like, I had to be more consistent with my 5 days a week. That's when I actually implemented like the 20 minutes of walking every day. Cardio. Because I was like, it had, because I didn't do cardio for the first 30 pounds, there wasn't much more room that I was willing to sacrifice in my calorie intake while I'm weight training because I wanted to maintain as much muscle as possible.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm not going to take more from my nutrition, so I have to implement it through my energy expenditure. And that's where the 20 minutes of walking came in. It wasn't too much to where it was too much stress. It was just enough to help me recover. It was enough to get an extra 200 calories in of energy expenditure again every day.
Yeah.
And I loved it. And it also, it's like, it kind of wraps up the end of the workout or the end of your day. And it's like, you could even do it on an active recovery day. And it's like, you feel good accomplishing it.
Yeah.
And it's not a whole lot. Like 20 minutes, like I can knock that out either walking my dog on a brisk walk. Like a lot of the times if I didn't go to the gym on an active recovery day, I took my dog Oakley down to the Carlsbad Beach, walked up and down for 20 minutes.
See, and that's a good little form of cardio.
Yes, sir.
I would love that. I never thought about that.
What kind of walk?
My dog's bad though, so.
What kind of walk do you take your dog on?
A beach walk?
What?
A brisk?
A brisk? A brisk walk? I don't know. Just
Was that supposed to be a joke?
I don't know.
Hey, it was my bad bitch summer
Are you
walk.
joking?
Right?
Are you joking, or is that what? Are you asking an actual question?
No, that's what I said. I think I said brisk.
No, he said brisk.
Oh, I don't know. Brisk
Yeah,
walk.
you got, you know that. You see those ladies out there.
I'm just. My boy, just getting his steps in.
No.
He's just looking at his watch and checking his heart rate at the same time.
Shit.
With Oakley right next to him.
Facts.
He's, okay,
Yeah.
brisk. That's brisk.
That's brisk.
100 to 132. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
We
Yeah.
good,
We're good.
we
We're good. That's not over. Yeah. So then, how long? So.
Oh, before
ahead.
whatever. Don't want to. Don't forget whatever you're gonna ask me.
Go ahead.
Something that I just talked about briefly there. Part of the EVOL body fat scan is it measures your muscle mass too. And during this time, and why I kind of mentioned, like, I didn't want to eat less than a certain amount. I didn't want to use more cardio than necessary.
I want to keep that muscle.
I wanted to keep as much muscle as possible. I'd have to pull up the email and because it sends you the email of all your scans, comparing from when I first got scanned, which was, I think, June of, like, last year or something like that, till back into February. I think I only lost 1 pound of lean muscle mass on my body. So it's like those 40 pounds, like
just straight body fat.
a lot of that, it was body fat or water weight.
Yeah.
Like, and again, like that's super important. Like, cause your body's it's going to use the energy you're using for your exercise. It's going to take the energy from your tissue and things like that and like burn it to consume it to survive. And it's like, you want to try to trick your body to prioritizing it from areas like fat.
Yeah.
You don't that's why your protein intake is important. That's why you don't want to be in too big of a calorie deficit. You don't want to do too much cardio because then your body goes in a kind of fail-safe mode and starts burning it from everywhere, from my understanding of the studies.
Yeah, I mean, that's what that's what I thought as well. That's why I always think, like, again, going back to breakfast, that's why I think breakfast is super important because you can knock out a lot of that, especially if you have a busy day. I think it's always like slow down and make sure you get a big breakfast in because now if you're just getting carbs throughout your day or just proteins throughout your day, like, you know that you had a good amount of fats in the morning, a good amount of proteins, a good amount of carbs. So then you kind of already answered my question. How long of a journey was it? So essentially June to February?
Well, June I started exercising a little more, but I would say the nutrition piece didn't kick in till October.
Okay.
That's when I would say, like, for sure I was relatively dialed.
In October.
So October till back into February. I hit 185 like the end of February. So you have October, November,
So
December,
5 months.
January, February, 5 months.
Nice. So then realistically, did you notice that you started losing the weight in October or were you losing it before October?
I think I went from 225 was, I think, June. And I went...
Damn, I don't even remember you weighing 225.
Bro, see, and that's what I've heard two reactions. People are like, I had no idea you had that much weight to lose.
Neither did I.
And then there's other people that walk by and they're like, yo, you've lost a lot of weight.
Like, I know you lost a lot of weight, but I didn't think it was that much.
Like, one of my members was like, you've lost like 30 pounds. Huh? I was like,
Fucking
yeah, bro.
I did, baby.
And it was like, but people, like you and like a lot of other people, like, I
just see you all the fucking time.
I had no idea you had that much to lose.
I just guess, like... Because when I think of 225, so like I weigh around 225 right now, and I just obviously like we have two separate bodies, and I just think of 225, and then I think of, and I've known people weighing 225, and they're just like rounded out people, and I'm like, you were relatively like kind of like slimmer for 225. That's why I was like, damn, 225, like okay, like still, but that was already when you start to lose, like.
So 225, and I feel like because I used to be so heavily in fitness and we used to play sports, I guess maybe I carried it just little differently. But definitely like night and day difference. From 100%. Having that to not having that.
Because you even I remember, I think I told you that when you were at the gym, and this was like, when was this, back in December maybe, and I didn't recognize you because like I was like, this guy kind of in shape, like looking lean. I was like, okay, and then because he had a hat on and he was wearing like a black shirt, I was like, oh, this kind of lean dude right here. And I was like walking by and I was like, oh shit, this nigga, bro. And I was like, oh damn,
that's funny.
And I told him, I was like, bro, you looking lean today, like, and that's when I noticed it, and I think that was back in December, or
I think that was around December.
December.
October to December, and that was that nutrition switch, and kind of when I guess maybe you start to see compounding effects from the weightlifting from June to then, because it's like the nutrition wasn't doing anything, but you're slowly building that lean muscle up. But once I started paying attention to that nutrition, like actually start cooking for myself, like
so it was crazy because when I saw you, I was like, damn, like my boy leaning out, baby. Yep. And now look at him, my boy, damn near Abercrombie and Finch model, baby.
Easy,
calm down,
easy.
So I guess what do you think the hardest part was along that journey?
It's so funny because I think when we talk about mindset, and in our week, I wanted to talk about like watching the UFC fights and John Jones and stuff. Yeah. Like John Jones is now the heavyweight champion. He was the championship champion in light heavyweight, but he walked out to the champ is here. And I think
and 50 Cent.
Yeah. And his just mindset is like he's gonna be a winner. He's gonna make it happen. Like he is going to die in the ring.
My boy said mismatch before he came out.
Right? Yeah. Like he has no doubt that he's gonna win, and that's a powerful thing. And I think once I committed to the journey, I was like, this is gonna happen. It's just, is it gonna happen next month or is it gonna happen a year from now? So I think just like telling myself that this is like kind of my lifestyle now. Like we're making this happen. After that, everything was kind of smooth sailing, but that's not necessarily fair to maybe a listener who hasn't worked out before, because I've been in this world. I have the education. I've gone to that. I've been leaner than this before in my life. So it's like, I think the hardest part for me was just committing to that mindset.
Okay. Yeah. Cause I was going to ask, I mean, obviously like for the listeners out there, like committing to the mindset sounds simple, but it's actually really, really hard.
Yep.
So how did you train yourself to commit to that mindset, or was it just like an instant switch? Because I doubt it was.
No. It's consistent, and you have days you don't want to do it, 100%. But then it's like you could find the 10 reasons why you shouldn't do something, or you could find the one why you should. Yeah. And a lot of times that's kind of like what I did. Like we were telling ourselves like tricks before on how to get into certain mindsets or how to be successful, how to create habits of success, and it was kind of like that was one of those things, like how bad do you want this? And it's like, if you could find one reason why you want this, then go do it.
Yeah.
And it was like, I don't want to cook tonight. I want to go buy that In-N-Out burger, or it's like, that long-term gratification. It's like, I know I want a more fit, healthy, happier me. 1, for the brand, 2, for my personal life, 3, for my overall health. Like, can't just talk about it, gotta be about it.
Facts. Yeah. I mean, that's super dope that like, it's cool that we're obviously like a fitness and like business podcast and like entrepreneur podcast, and we're just like two dudes, and then we talk about so much stuff. And like if people rewinded it back from day one to now, like they'd be like, okay, like these people don't just talk about it, they be about it. You feel me?
Yeah.
And like it's cool because now it's like, okay, the shit that they were saying like actually does show results.
Oh, for sure. And it's like that's another reason why like I enjoyed this journey. That was one of the other starting reasons for this like weight loss journey, is like, cool, I could live my life at the body fat percentage I was at with the physicality I was at. Well, maybe I wouldn't be optimally happy like I am now, but I could have done that. But like nothing I did during this workout journey, this nutrition journey, this weight loss journey, we'll just say that, weight loss journey, is anything that I didn't talk about on the show.
Facts.
I literally have just implemented the simple tips that we talk about on a day-to-day basis.
Agree, fact.
So
Really.
as I talked about, like the hardest thing or the most important thing was maybe shifting that mindset. Once that mindset was in, it was fine.
Yeah.
Like, because even if I didn't have the education and stuff like that, there's a jillion podcast, YouTube videos, trainers at gyms, friends that work out that are going to talk to you about the same things where you can get this information.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, like we're just two dudes and we did what we said we were going to do.
Bro. And what's crazy is like sometimes it just comes down to like work ethic. Like you just got to put in the work, and like you just got to be the hardest worker in the room sometimes. And like that's like at the end of the day, like we like you said, like a lot of people don't have the knowledge, or they don't have like the motivation, or they don't have like the friends, or they don't have the people in their infrastructure to like get them to point A to point B. But at the end of the day, like it just has to end up with you just going out there and doing it and just being the hardest worker in the room.
Yeah. Like believe you can do it, and then start taking the steps towards it, and then don't stop. Like,
yeah. And
it's
an uphill battle.
Yeah, I had a conversation. Hopefully they don't mind me sharing it, but I had a conversation with someone really close to me and my family. They just stopped smoking.
Oh, nice.
And like that's
hard.
That's hard. Like that's a actual like chemical addiction that somebody has.
Hell yeah.
And also maybe a physiological one, hand to mouth, stress release, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like Tony Robbins has a quote from one of his videos, and he's like this smoker comes up and he's like, yeah, I haven't smoked in this many days. And Tony Robbins is like,
you still counting?
Why are you counting?
Hey.
And he's like, that's not your identity anymore.
Yeah.
He's like, it's not, oh, that's not the brand I smoke, or, oh, I don't smoke anymore. It's, I am not a smoker.
I don't smoke.
I'm
not a smoker.
They have to make that, one, they have to believe that they can quit and commit to start that journey. But then they have to like commit themselves to it. Like that is what it is. It's like, if someone's, like clinically obese, it's like, or they like, I am not going.
Obese,
I am obese, but I'm not going to be obese anymore.
Yeah.
Like, and then start that journey. And it's like, if you want to build a business, like you broke, like I am broke, but I'm not going to be broke anymore. And it's like, that's this podcast and like what we talk about. Like this is the message.
Yeah. I think it's crazy because it sounds corny as a motherfucker, and I hate it. And I hate it so much because it sounds so fucking corny, but it works. Like when you tell yourself like affirmations, when you say like, hey, I'm not going to be broke anymore, or I'm not going to be like fat anymore, or I'm not going to be lazy anymore, like that shit works. And like, I hate to say it because like there's thousands of shit on feed, and it's like, you just got to go out there and you got to fucking believe you could do it. And like this is that. And it's so like, it's true to an extent. But it's like realistically, like I know people scroll by and they're like, man, this motherfucker like doesn't know the struggle, like, or like, man, this motherfucker like he been lean all his life, like. So there's people gonna like, I guarantee at the beginning of the podcast they're like, oh, these motherfuckers don't know about weight loss. They just been healthy all their lives. But then you go through a 40-pound weight loss journey, and then you tell them like, yeah, I've been just telling myself like, hey, like you got to get out there and go fucking do it. And then it's like, it's just a shocker to people because they're like, damn, it is really a mindset battle that you have to overcome from yourself. And it's just so hard. And that's why I think it's so corny, because like I see all that and I'm like, God, like these motherfuckers are so corny. But like at the end of the day, it's realistically like a mindset battle. And it's so hard because like your biggest like hater and your biggest like objection is yourself. Like, you're the only person that you have, like the only battle that you have realistically is yourself. And it's like how do you get more like self-power and self-willpower, like to go achieve those things? And it always just starts with like small affirmations that are like, hey, that are going to just turn into big ones.
Yeah.
But that's fucking crazy. Yeah, that's dope.
Damn.
I give you another round of applause, baby.
Oh my God.
Hey, 40 pounds, that's shit. So have you lost 40 pounds before?
I've done, yeah.
You have?
Damn. Yeah, when I got out of high school. So when I was a high school athlete, I'd play at 205 football. That was my good weight because I would fluctuate from like a defensive end, tight end, like wanted to be quick but bigger. Yeah. I'd play basketball at 180. And like I was kind of used to like that bouncing back and forth.
Speaking of basketball, I dunked a volleyball the other day.
Hey, so you can get up there. It's just the grip thing.
Yeah, it's just a grip thing, baby. Yeah, I just gotta put my palm in that motherfucker. Anyways, go back to it.
But getting out of high school, went to college, played some college sports, started drinking a lot, get that freshman 15, ate like an athlete, wasn't being an athlete anymore. At one point, the heaviest I got up to, I think I got up to more than 225. I feel like that's just like my barometer, where it's like, you fucking piece of shit. Like,
he's just stopping at 225, knowing damn well that motherfucker was at 240.
Like this is the highest we go. Damn it! Like
He's like, yeah, I've never been at 230, bro. Never, bro.
Like, bro, I got pictures like of that one.
Yeah.
Where like I was carrying the weight, bro. I
was showing,
bro.
You saw the midriff after the little t-shirt went up.
But then I went into that's when I got into the best shape of my life, was right around 21. Obviously it's easier then, right? 21, like now, and any old head who's watching, I think you could still do it.
Damn old head. We age discrimination on this.
Hey, well, I know there's gonna be people who even say like me now. I'm
old head.
I'm over 27, but it's like,
damn, he old.
Nah, I ain't old. But there's gonna be maybe a 40-year-old, 35-year-old, 55, any age. Like you can still make your situation better. Like thinking
I hope there's some like. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Go ahead.
I hope there's some like 60-year-olds and like 70-year-olds listening to this podcast.
100%. Still, when I say 27, like, oh, you're still very young, and I understand that. But when I say like, I was in the best shape of my life, 21, they're gonna be like, oh, of course. And it's like,
of course you were.
But I was working so astronomically hard then. Like I got below 11% body fat at that point. Like I was at one point gonna, at that point, go to like, I wanted to stage. I wanted to go compete. I thought physique was like the thing. And fitness was like my end all be all. But I was working dramatically harder then than I am now, because I didn't know nearly as much as I do now.
Yeah, 100%.
But that I got down to 170 during that journey.
Sheesh, little man.
So that'd be over like that was like 50 pounds that I lost at that point.
That's crazy.
But I kept that off for pretty much, like, because then a lot of people's next question would be like, well, if you've done this before, why did it happen again? I kept that off for probably, well, I'm 27 now, and that was the heaviest I've gotten ever since then. So I guess I kept that off for about 6 years. Damn. And in between then, I've had an ACL surgery due to a sports injury, and even then, after the ACL tear, I got a little heavier, but nothing crazy.
But did you feel good at like 170? Because like, so I've gotten down to like 209, and like this is me like really cutting really hard and like grinding it out. And I was sitting at maybe like 8%, 8 to 11, and I felt good, but like I just felt very lean. And people were gonna be like, I was sitting at like 20, I was like sitting at 210 or 209 or 205 actually. And people think like, it was funny because people would be like, yo, you look small. And I'm like, bro, 205, bro. I'm 205.
Big homie still.
Relax, bro.
And at that body fat percentage.
And
though,
exactly. I was sitting at like at least like 9 or 8% at 205. And I'm like, damn, I'm like pretty big and still lean right now. And I'm like, I just felt like a little dude.
Yeah.
Like I felt like my shirts were just swallowing me up.
Shit.
And
that's the thing.
Damn.
I bought a whole new wardrobe.
Exactly, bro. And like
there was not a large shirt in my closet at that time.
Facts. And I just felt like I was just too like, I don't know. I just felt too little. Like I felt like I was lean, but like I get it. Like I was just like, I don't want to be this lean. But now I'm like currently sitting at like 230. And again, I don't feel comfortable at 230. I feel like now I'm just too heavy.
Yeah.
So I feel like my comfortable weight is like 215, 220. Like that's my good comfortable weight where I'm like, this is sustainable. This is also like I'm lean enough to not have body dysmorphia to an extent, because I'm always going to have body dysmorphia because I'm in the fucking fitness industry.
You could always be better.
Yeah, I could always be better. But it's, where I feel comfortable like going to the beach, and then also where I feel healthy enough to like keep that weight on. Yeah. So like how did you feel? How do you feel now? And then how do you feel at that time?
I wouldn't ever want to stay at 170.
Hell no. I was going to say, you a little man at 170.
Bro, I was absolutely shredded. And that was amazing. And I did more cardio then. Like that's another thing too. But so my cardiovascular health was dialed. So like my athleticism
was great.
Was amazing.
Yeah.
and I always made sure functionality was a piece of my workout programming even then.
Yeah.
So like my sports performance was okay, but I've every time I would be like, I look good. People would tell me as I'm getting leaner, like, bro, you looking great. Like, cause then you see all the striations, you see the curvature.
Yeah,
like
that's what everyone wants to see.
But that's not where I would stay at 190. If I can, and that's my journey now. Right. And like I said, I'm reverse dieting up, and I'm already feeling like a little heavier in my midsection, and I hate it. Go ahead.
So then, okay. So we got the 40 pounds off. What's your goal now? Like what is the new goal? Because the goal's already hit. We already hit the 185. Boom, knock that shit out the park. Quick and easy, baby. So what's the new goal? Like, what do the listeners have to look forward to next January when we're looking at this, or next in December maybe? Like, what are we like hoping that Roddy looks like in December?
Oh, in December?
Yeah.
In December, he's going to be a big homie for sure.
Big homie? Yeah, I've been waiting for a homie to push weight with me.
Hey, let's go.
Yeah.
So right now we're gonna have a little short goal, because I have an ego. I have the male ego, which is impossible to satiate. But so I'm looking to at least get back up to 190. Right now, try to stay as close to my body fat percentage I am now. So put on probably like 5 pounds of muscle. That may or may not be achievable by summertime.
Yeah.
Because I want to look good in the summer.
Yeah.
Because we live in sunny San Diego. I want to take advantage of it. I want to go play beach volleyball and stuff like that. Post that, having abs for summer.
Can't wait to play beach volleyball with my boy leaned out.
Let's go. From there, the idea would be to probably get up to, again, try to maintain relative this body fat percentage, but as you get bigger, it's okay to gain 1% or 2%. I want to get to like 200 as relatively lean.
Lean, yeah.
205 would be amazing. That way, by December, and then let that 205 lean out to, again, kind of a 190 and see what that looks like at a lower body fat percentage than I am currently.
Yeah, I think, I don't know, again, I don't even know if it's just because of my body type or just because like how I train, but I feel like once I hit the 200 part lean, like it was so hard for me. It's still so hard for me to drop like under 200.
Yeah.
Even if I do everything, like if I cut super hard and if I train super hard, I won't, like I'll get to 200, but like I'm still gonna be like I would lost hella muscle.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. Like once you get that lean 200, like that's a good life.
That's a good life. It does so much for you.
It does so much for you, and it's like you can put on 30 pounds of like body fat. Well, I mean not body fat, but like you can put on like 30 more pounds, and like your 30 pounds are just gonna like sit differently. Than 30 pounds of you being at like 185 or 180.
Absolutely.
And you putting on 30 pounds. Like that shit sits completely different. And what's crazy is like me being at 200 and like putting on 35 pounds. I'm like, okay, like I feel out of shape and I look out of shape, but like to most people, they're just like, yeah, that's big homie over there.
Yep.
And like to me, it's just because like I know that I can sit comfortably at like 11 to 13% at 215. 230, like 220 to 230, I'm sitting at anywhere from 15 to 18 or like maybe even pushing 20 the higher I go.
Yeah.
But still, I carry that differently from people that look different. Like, for example, like you were probably, I don't know, whatever percent. And like you carry that completely different. And that's why I don't like when people compare themselves to people.
Oh,
and, like,
yeah. Like literally my body fat percentage could have been similar.
Yeah.
To what a gym member walks in who hasn't worked out in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
And we would have looked dramatically different.
Completely different. And that's why I hate when people like compare each other. Like that's why like not like bashing on social media because obviously our shit is meant for social media, but like that's why I hate when people do comparison and like they're like, yeah, like I want to look like this person or I want to look like that. And I'm like, bro, like that person is like that person's probably like done that and their body like fat percentage is sitting at like 10 or 20%, like whatever. Like,
and you won't even know.
And you won't know that. And what's crazy is like, yeah, like you're probably sitting at a leaner body fat percentage than some of these people like you look at. And like these are like not. I'm not talking about like pro bodybuilders. Like obviously, like,
no.
them motherfuckers sitting at like 3%, like
some
unhealthy,
unhealthy shit.
Yeah, it's some unhealthy shit. But I'm talking about like the influencers or like a old school like Jake Paul. Like Jake Paul was probably sitting at like 20% body fat when before he got into boxing. Like he's probably still only sitting at like 15% body fat.
Oh,
he's
when he's out of camp? No.
Yeah,
there's been photos of him out of camp and he has no abs.
Even when he's in camp, like he's probably only sitting at like 13 or 12.
Like this last fight, he was pretty flat.
Oh, exactly. That's what I'm saying. He's probably sitting at like 15 at this last fight.
And
And a lot of people were like, yo, like I want to look like Jake Paul or like I want to look like this. And I'm like, bro, like you're probably sitting at 15 too. Like you're probably weighing the same body fat percentage and y'all just carrying it differently. Or like you're sitting at 20, he's sitting at like 15, and like realistically, like even if you did cut down to 15, you probably look better than Jake Paul.
Yeah.
Like that's why I hate when people compare themselves to people.
Yeah. Just like change on you what you want to change for you.
Bro. But just please change for yourself. Like you want to change for yourself and want to look how you want to look. You want to be the next you.
Yeah.
Like you don't want to be the next Jake Paul. You want to be the next you. Mm-hmm. And that's what like a lot of people just don't understand.
Yep. And that's like when we have clients sometimes and they're like, can't you just give me the stuff and like tell me what to do? And I'm like, I could tell you a lot of things, or like, can me and my friend work out together and can it be the same things and all that? I'm like, where you are starting at is different from where they started at. Exactly. Your fitness experience up to this point in your lives are different. You both have different bodies. You both might even have different end goals. Like it's not going to be identically the same. Like me and you can cross paths in our workouts from here to there.
Yeah.
But it's like if me and you worked out 5 days a week together, exact same reps, sets, periodization, everything, we would both progress, but it might not necessarily be the same progression.
Exactly.
Same progression timelines, and then also towards the goals that we maybe both had.
Exactly. Like we could both work out the exact same routine, same exactly what you said, and we'll both progress. But like one of us is going to progress more than the other, and one of us is going to get closer to the goal than the other. Like realistically, like if we both worked out and we're both doing like what I like currently, say you should start working out with me, and I'm currently doing the same workouts that I've been doing. Like this is my maintenance workouts. So what you're going to do could probably be something completely different than what you were working out, and this could like be a whole different muscle atrophy and shock your body completely different. And now you're going to get way more, like, obviously results from that.
Yeah.
While me, I'm just staying stagnant.
Yeah.
And I'm still maintaining it. I'm like, yo, what the fuck? Like, I worked out with Christian. Like, we're homies. Like, why? He's been killing it. He clearly looks bigger and better. Like, why don't I look bigger and better? It's because I'm doing my same maintenance workouts. I didn't shock my body. You did.
Yep.
So, yeah. So that's why I don't fuck with it. Fuck that shit.
Yeah. What do they say? It's comparison is the thief of joy.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. And crazy ass expectations. Yeah. But a lot of the times you have crazy expectations because you are comparing to something.
100%. But yeah, again, I'm proud of you, bro.
Hey, you know,
I don't think people tell you that, but I'm fucking proud of you, bro. That's so dope.
Hey, yo.
I don't think people be giving you your credit where your credit's due, and I think you fucking worked your ass off and grinded.
No, I appreciate that. I'm a pretty selfish person. Like I feel like I did a lot of that for me, but at the same time, like I did want a little bit of it to be like, hey, like you can do this. It's not that hard. Yeah. But no, I'm super happy. I'm happier for it. There is no negative outcome that could possibly happen from you bettering yourself. At all. There's a saying like Mark Bell, he has a podcast, but don't go listen to him, listen to us. But he says like weakness is never a strength is never a weakness. And that's like his outro line. But it's like for real, like go put in the work, like believe in yourself, change your mindset. Like you deserve it. Like fuck, dude, you deserve it. Like this life is short, be the best of you.
Yeah, 100%. And that's funny because it reminds me of like that like, there's this like old story where it's like this dude he's getting told like his son, it's like old like Chinese story or something like that, and it's like his how's it start? He's like the season in his crops, he's a farmer, and like I guess like the season was bad, and then the farmers come up to tell him, and he's like, hey, like
I just listened to this, it was cold,
and they're like, hey, like I'm sorry that your crops like died, and
that's terrible.
They never grew, and they're like, they're like, yeah, that's terrible, and he's like, well, yeah, like it could be good, it could be bad, and they're like, what do you mean, like you don't have any crops? And then like he doesn't get any crops, so he gets a horse. Like they're like his son finds a bunch of wild horses, and then now he got a horse because there was no crops, and then they're like, oh, that's super dope, like you got a horse, like that's awesome. And he's like, well, yeah, it could be good, it could be bad. And then he's like, and then it keeps going. He's like, well, how could it be good? You got a horse to help you out with your crops. And then his son is working on the field and falls off the horse and breaks his leg. And then they're like, damn, that fucking sucks. Like your son just broke his leg. Like that's shitty. And he's like, well, it could be good, it could be bad. Like we don't know. And then a week later, they're like, well, like he just broke his leg, bro. Like he has a broken leg. And then a week later, they're about to go to war, and they're recruiting all the young people, and they're like, hey, like we need your son. Well, he has a broken leg, he can't go to war. And then they're like, damn, like you're so lucky your son couldn't go to war because now like he has a broken leg. He's like, well, it could be good, it could be bad. So like the whole moral of the story is like, essentially you don't know the choices that you make could result in each other way. So it's about like being open-minded and being optimistic for like the point of view for like whenever you're gonna go out in life. So like realistically, like you like at home and you're like, damn, like, well, I didn't go to the gym today, or like I didn't work out, or I didn't work out as hard. Like, well, that could be good or could be bad. Like, don't beat yourself up over like missing one day of the gym. Like you still have tomorrow, and like who knows? Like you never know. Like you could have went to the gym and had a shitty workout, or like something could have happened, or vice versa. Like you did go to the gym and you're like, I didn't eat healthy today. Like I didn't eat the In-N-Out burger that I wanted. Like, well, you don't know like the results. Like that could end up to being like a great thing down the road. So I think the point of that is being optimistic, and I think you were very optimistic throughout the whole point, their whole like weight loss journey, and I think that's amazing. So
Yeah, absolutely.
So you know where to find us. You know where to find us. Go follow us on Instagram, Spotify, YouTube. Please go follow us on YouTube. I'm trying to get that nice ass plaque that everyone got, bro. I want that shit, bro. I want to put it in the background, bro. So please go follow us on YouTube. Yeah. Subscribe, because that's the only way I get the plaque. And then also hit up the Instagram, hit up the TikTok, go to your mama's house, go tell her to go do it all, and then come holler at us, all right?
Yes, sir. Little outro. And the only controllable pillar of success is hustle, baby. So go out there and hustle. And again, mindset is a powerful thing. So go out there and believe yourselves. You guys could achieve anything.
You know how to let him do it because he's been fucking hustling.
Oh, my God.